holding above this 55 Thai baht, right? But we can buy what we call the SDR. Right over here, the next line down. Do you know that you can actually buy some of the top Thailand stocks in Singapore, just like any other normal Singapore stock, and you can do that using what we call Singapore Depository Receipts. In short, it's SDRs. How do you do that? Hey guys, Joey here, top tier myself trader in Philip Securities. In this video, I'm going to share with you guys just three of the top Thailand stocks out of 8, right? Out of 8 SDR that we have right now on the SGX. Some looks better, some looks a little bit weaker, but there are 3 that came into my watch list, right, over the past few weeks. So I want to share with you guys 3 Thailand stocks that you can potentially position yourself in, and how you can actually take a position in what we call the SDR by buying what we call this Singapore listed stock, just like any other normal Singapore stocks. Let's dive into the very first Thailand stock right now. So the first Thailand stock I want to share with you will be this company called KBANK. The code is KBANK. This is the one that's listed on the Stock Exchange of Thailand. But as I mentioned, you can actually buy the one that's listed on the Singapore, the SDR. I'll come to that in a bit. So KBANK is the highest traded value bank, also the best domestic bank in Thailand. Right? So let's take a look at where we are right now in terms of the price. So we are about 157 Thai baht. So you can see what I've done over here is that I've drawn some of the key support and resistance level that we have broken. You can see right over here somewhere around like August, just last month, we broke this very key resistance level. This was the 135 Thai baht, and we look down, you can see that there were signs of the uptrend already forming just by looking at the 20 days moving average line pointing up. So we went from 135 all the way to our target, right? I did a video on it as well as some articles as well, all right? And you can see that we also breached our 150 target, right, over the past 1 to 2 weeks. So not too bad. It looks pretty good. The uptrend looks intact, and this bank could be a beneficiary of these rate cuts that we are seeing as well. I mean, in terms of the Federal Reserve cutting rates by 0.5% just about 2 days back. So that's a good thing. That's a good news because it could lead to increase in loans growth as interest rates become cheaper. More people take up home loans, financial loans, car loans, and stuff like that. That could be a boost in terms of interest income for this bank, and so the Singapore banks that I've talked about in my previous video as well. All right, so you can see right over here we are at 157 Thai baht. So resistance wise, maybe a 160. That's potentially where we are seeing a little bit of selling over the past 1 to 2 weeks, but I think it looks pretty good. So I would say this 150 Thai baht, let me just turn it to green in color because now it would be like a support. This would be like a support level as well, 135, 150, but not even 135. I think now 150 may be a support level. Right over here from 150 to 160, you can see that's also where the 20 days moving average line is as well. So as long as we stay above 150, I think it looks pretty bullish. If we were to break the 160 resistance, potentially targets may be raised towards 170 to maybe even 180, right? So how do we actually take a position in this stock by not buying the underlying stock that's listed on Thailand? Well, as I mentioned, you can do what we call the SDR. So before we talk about the SDR, first of all, what you could do is to do a quick currency conversion. So for example, right, look at this right over here, based on the 150, this is the support, 150 Thai baht, so 150 convert to Singapore dollars. This is the rate right over here, all right? You just multiply it by 0.039, so 150 times 0.039, simple math, right? That would be like about $5.85 Singapore dollars. Same thing, the resistance at 160 Thai baht, you times 0.039, is about $6.24 Singapore dollars. So that's kind of like a range to work with before we look at the SDR. So let's take a look at my watch list of SDR. So you can see KBANK is right over here. This is the underlying. The code is KBANK, 157 Thai baht that I talked about and analyzed just now. But you can buy what we call the SDR. Just look one line down. You can see this is the SDR. You can see the name is KBANK space bank space TH stands for Thai, right? Thai TH space SDR, which you can watch this as well. The code is TKKD, and you can see the price is about $6.10. So if you do a quick currency conversion, you'll be like 157 converted to Sing dollars, about $6.10 as well. All right, and we talk about these range as I mentioned just now in terms of the support level from about 150 to 160 Thai baht, which is like $5.85 Sing dollars to $6.24. So if this support level were to hold, or if the price were to dip towards this support level near this $5.85. Let me just turn this to green in color because now there is a support level. So 585 or maybe like 590 or maybe 590 something, $6. If you dip to that level, that could be an entry to get into the recovery in terms of this SDR. So now it's like $6.10. So you could dip a little bit to like 585 to like $6. That could be an entry to ride the reversal. The next Thailand stock I'll share with you, and that would be Gulf Energy. The code for the underlying stock is GULF, right? And we are trading about 57 Thai baht right now. So what is Gulf Energy doing? Well, it's one of Thailand's largest gas-fired powered and renewable energy producer, right? Pretty much in the energy space, right? And let's see what we're doing. So you can see we are at about 57 Thai baht. We have breached some of the targets that I've talked about in my previous video as well. You can see right over here, we breached the 46, which became a support. Even the $50 resistance gave way as well, 50 Thai baht, right? And of course, in the past 1 to 2 weeks, we've gone higher above the 55 Thai baht, right? So not too bad. Let's see what would be the support level. Well, I would say that perhaps support level, you can just turn this from red to green color. That would be like the support level, green color right now. So I would say 55 level would be a support. It seems like over the past week, we have been holding above this 55 Thai baht, right? So 55 Thai baht, same thing, can convert to Singapore dollars, 0.039, all right? So $2.14. Target would be around that 60 Thai baht, convert to Singapore dollars, about $2.34. So not too bad. In terms of the trend, you can see that since breaking some of the key resistance level that I talked about as well, right? Look at this, right? This was the very key resistance around the 45 to 46 Thai baht. Since last year, we came down, but finally somewhere in July, right, we broke above that 45 to 46. We stayed above it, and obviously there are some signs of the trend turning up as well. Right now, this short-term trend is still turning up, and we are holding above 55. So it looks pretty bullish. I think as long as we stay above 55 to 54, uptrend remains intact, right? So upside could be all the way towards the 60 Thai baht. If that gives way, well, it could be raised in terms of target towards the 70 Thai baht. So let's take a look at the SDR right now. Okay, so this is Gulf Energy, the underlying GULF, but we can buy what we call the SDR. Right over here, the next line down, GULF space TH, which stands for Thai space SDR, which means Singapore Depository Receipts, right? You can see the code is TGED, right? And the Singapore dollar price is $2.22, right? Like a normal Singapore stock, you can go to buy as per normal. All right, so $2.22. So you just go back to the chart again, you see $2.22 will be somewhere in the middle right over here. All right, so support-wise, $2.14. So you dip to near that, 55 Thai baht, which is like $2.14 Singapore dollars. So it could be 215, 216, 218, 220. That could be an entry. So now we are at like $2.22. So on dips, that could be an entry to get into ride the uptrend even further. Let's move on to the third and final Thailand stock I'll share with you, and that would be Delta Electronics, right? The underlying code of the Thailand stock is Delta, DELTA. And by the way, guys, if you want to find out a little bit more in terms of the entire strategy of how do we even pick stocks like this, how do we know when to get in, when to get out, what is the strategy that we use, I use this strategy called the One Good Trend strategy. So to find out a little bit more, right, just attend one of those free webinars. The link is right below. Click on it, attend this free webinar where I share with you guys a little bit more. I don't have time to do that today. All right, just pretty much diving into the stock and of course talking about the SDR, right? So let's talk about Delta Electronics right now. Okay, trading about 108.5 Thai baht right over here. You can see that over the past 1 over month, we have been holding quite well above this very key support level. That would be the psychological 100 Thai baht. So somewhere around early August, we broke above the 100 Thai baht, and it seems like we're still staying above the 100 Thai baht level, which is good, right? So 100 converted to Singapore dollars is like $3.90. Just take note. So as long as we stay above that, Singapore dollars $3.90 in terms of the SDR, which I'll take a look at it later. All right, we are pretty bullish, right? So upside targets could be from 100 Thai baht all the way to around 120 Thai baht. So 120 Thai baht, you convert to Singapore dollars, you times 0.039, it's about $4.68. cents. So how do I know that 120 could be a potential target? Or right, well, you can take a look at this right over here. You can see that since last year, somewhere around like June, even somewhere in like July as well, came down. That is a very key resistance level, the 120 type. So if you were to hit to 120, I think potentially we may see some profit taking happening near that. So if the SDR were to hit to like near $4.68, that's where you could also lock in some profits, right? So I think support wise, in terms of the SDR, it would be like 390 all the way upside to about $4.68. So let's take a look at the SDR right now for Delta. Okay, so this is Delta Electronics. The code is DELTA. The underlying listed on the stock exchange of Thailand. You can see 108.50 Thai baht. So you look down, this is the one that you can buy just like any other normal Singapore stock, the SDR, right? Delta space TH space SDR. The code is TDED, right? The price about $4.19 Singapore dollars. So what is the support level we talk about? Well, that would be like $3.90. So you hit to near $3.90 Singapore dollars, like $3.95, $4, $4.05. Now we are at like $4.90. So you dip a little bit to that support level. That could be an entry to get in to ride the reversal all the way up, as I mentioned, towards the $4.68 Singapore dollars target. So there we have it, guys. These are the 3 Thailand stocks I share with you that you can potentially position yourselves for more upside as we head into the last quarter of 2024. And of course, with these rate cuts finally coming in, like 0.5% cut, that could be a boost, right, to these 3 stocks as well in terms of the bank, in terms of the energy sector, in terms of the electronic sector. It will be a boost to the economy as well, worldwide, as well in Thailand, as well in Singapore. So that could lead to strength in the stock market for Thailand. So these are the 3 stocks that you can potentially think about getting in terms of the Singapore depository receipts, right? So I hope you like this video, guys. You got some value out of it. If you do, great to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, all right, so that you will not miss out on any videos like this whereby we talk about some US stocks, some Singapore stocks, and of course Thailand stocks in collaboration with SGX. That's where I talk about the SDR as well. So Joey here, thank you so much for watching. If you want to find out a little bit more in terms of the entire One Good Trend strategy, as I mentioned, go to attend one of those free webinars I'm still running. The link is right below. Click on it. I'll see you soon.